With the English release of Riftbound right around the corner, or even now by the time that I actually get this uploaded, I thought now would be the best time to throw my hat into the ring. And what better way to start our journey together than making a beginner's guide to help people who are interested in taking their first steps into learning the game understand what Riftbound is and how to play. If you're interested in a certain topic or just want to skim through the video, I will leave timestamps down below and have chapters in this video for you to use. So without further ado, I present to you my beginner's guide to Riftbound. Let's begin with the very core. What is Riftbound? Well, Riftbound is Riot's trading card game, or TCG for short, that's set in the world of Runeterra, or in other words, League of Legends. You know, that indie game that everyone hates to love and loves to hate. Something unique to Riftbound though is that built into the game, there are multiple ways to play. There's your obvious 1v1s that are officially known as duels, the cornerstone to any good TCG. The 4-player free-for-alls known as wars. Think of them as your commander pods in Magic the Gathering. Your 2v2s, known officially as magma chambers, where you team up with your friends to take down your opponents. And 3-for-alls. Yes, you can play with 3 people. These are known as skirmishes. And honestly, all these game modes flow seamlessly together, right? They did a really good job of making the rules and the cards flow super well with whatever game mode that you decide to play with your friends. For the sake of this video though, making sure it's beginner friendly and it doesn't go too long, we're only going to focus on the duels. Like I said, they're the 1v1s. However, if you're interested in learning the differences between the game modes or just want to see gameplay of them in the future, please let me know down below in the comments. And also subscribe so you don't miss it when I actually get around to it. Now let's actually start with what the cards are. So there are a few different types of cards that I need you to be aware of when you're starting out in Riftbound. The first one I want to talk about today is your legend card. Think of this as your commander card if you're coming from Magic, or your leader card from One Piece. These cards have a passive or an active role in how you play your game, but they do not actually do the fighting or scoring for you. They are locked inside the legend zone. As you see here, I have Ari as my legend. Ari says when an enemy unit attacks a battlefield you control, give it -1 this turn to a minimum of 1. So while she is not actively fighting, your legend that you select is very intrinsic to your team. Your leader card also states your affinity. You see that blue and green symbol on the top left of the card? That is what my deck is allowed to play. So for Ari, I'm only allowed to play blue or green or neutral cards in my deck. There's actually 6 different colors or rune types in this game. Red equals fury, blue equals mind, yellow is order, green is calm, orange is body, and purple is chaos. And speaking of runes, rune cards are your energy source. They're what you're going to use to actually play the cards. Every deck has 12 runes precisely in their own separate deck that you'll use to pay the cost of cards. You will pay them by either exhausting them, which is essentially tapping them, or recycling them, which is putting that card at the bottom of the deck. For this, you'll be putting your rune card at the bottom of your rune deck, and we'll go more into that later. Next up are your unit cards. These are your creature cards, the bodies on the board. On the top left, you can see their cost. That circle number is their energy cost. That's how many runes you must exhaust in order to play. Now, if you look underneath that, certain cards have a power cost. What you do with your power cost is you recycle, which is putting the rune on the bottom of the deck of the same color that is on the card. So let's say I wanted to play this card. I would tap 7 and then recycle 1 blue. An important note I want to make is that you can tap and recycle the same rune at the same time. So in that previous example that I gave, one of the blue runes that I exhausted in order to play, I may also recycle to pay the power cost as well. Now that we got that, let's move to the top right. That symbol with the sword and the shield and the number, that is the character's might. A character's might is essentially their damage and their health. So this card is a 7/7 if you want to think about it like that. It will deal 7 damage to a creature, and if the damage they received is greater than their might, they will be killed and sent to their trash. Lastly, if we move down the card a little, you can see its text box. This is where the card's ability is displayed, in addition to some keywords. Now, we'll go into keywords in a future video just like the different modes, because I would like to give them the proper time to explain all of them. When you play a unit, they will come in exhausted. meaning they cannot attack a battlefield the same turn they are played, unless otherwise stated by the card, or have the keyword accelerate, which we will go into more in a future video. Also to note, if you own a battlefield, you may play a unit from your hand into that battlefield instead of your base, but only if you own it. They will still come exhausted, which means they cannot retreat if you do end up doing that. Now there are special unit cards called champion cards. Champion cards are a unique subclass of unit. Not any unit can be a champion, however, the card itself will state as such, as you can see above Ari's name. You may have more than one champion card in your deck, like any other unit, but you may only have one out in the champion zone, which is next to your legend zone, at any given time. What a champion essentially is a card that you may call upon anytime if you pay the cost. Think of it as always have access, but never in your hand. An important note is that if a champion is defeated, it will be sent to the trash like any other unit. Next up are spell cards. Everyone loves spells, and Riftbound has plenty. Spell cards are paid the same way a unit would be, with an energy and a power cost, and can be played on your turn. If a spell card has action on it, that means you're allowed to play it in combat even if it's your opponent's combat turn. And if it has a reaction keyword, that means you can play it anytime. You can think about these as instant spells from Magic. Next up are gear cards. Gear cards are akin to artifacts in Magic. Two cards that you can play in your base and sometimes the battlefield that have a lot of different effects, like this one. This one is the next time a friendly unit would die, kill this instead and recall that unit to base. There's a lot of different and powerful ones, so make sure you check them all out. The last card type we'll be discussing today is the battlefield card. These are cards where the points are actually scored, and they each have their own special ability. Now, why would I talk about these? That's because each deck contains 3. You get to pick them out. Now, depending on how you play, whether it's a best of 1 or a best of 3 determines how they're actually picked. So once you have 3 in your deck, if it's a best of 1, they're chosen at random. Now, if it's a best of 3, you get to choose which one, and it changes each game. So there's always a good one for your deck. Now that we know what our cards are, let's discuss how to set them up. Let's look at our field real quick. We have 1 legend, 3 battlefield cards that we get to pick when we start, our 12 runes, our 1 champion that is included in our 40 card deck. Now, before we start playing, how do we actually win? Well, there are 2 ways to score points. This is by conquering a battlefield, which will score you 1 point, or holding it when your turn starts the following turn for an additional point. First 1 to 8 points wins. Now, let's say you're at 7 points and you conquer. You actually do not earn your 8th point by conquering just 1 point. You will actually draw a card. What you would want to do to gain your 8th point is to capture both battlefields in 1 turn, or just hold this until the beginning of your next turn. That will score your 8th and final point. Now, how does a turn actually start? Well, there is an A, B, C, D method and a way to remember this. A is awaken. If I had any exhausted runes or units or leaders, this is where you would untap them and awaken them. B is beginning. This is the part where any card text that says at the beginning or your turn, or you score a point, would take place. C is channeling. Channeling is when you draw the top 2 cards of your rune deck and play them ready. The only time that is not 2 that has been drawn is if you go second on your first turn. That's the only time it's different, and you will get an additional rune card. And then D is draw. You will draw your first card and then begin your play. Now it's time to walk through this actual game. I am joined by my friend Drybones. He's going to help me, and we're going to do a step-by-step to get you to understand the flow of the game. Brady, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh shit, I took a bite of chicken. I didn't know I had a speaking role in it.
Well, you do now. All right. So you do that, and I'm going to go ahead and shuffle my stuff.
Hi, I'm Drybones, 32. Thanks for having me on, Hobie. Long-time listener, first-time watcher.
Thank you. All right, to start out the game, each player will draw 4 cards. Now, there is a mulligan system in this game. The way the mulligan system works is that you will choose up to 2 cards in your hand. Like, I will choose this card. You will place it face down, and you will recycle, and you will draw replacement cards equal to how many you mulliganed. So I will draw an additional card, and then we'll wait for Brady to do his mulligan.
I'm good.
All right. Now we're going to determine who wants to go first. For the sake of time, I'm just going to go first. And to go first, we'll do the A, B, C, D like I mentioned before. First is Awaken. We don't have any creatures to awaken, so we'll move on to Beginning. Nothing to Beginning. Then we'll have Channel. We'll channel 2 runes. Ready. And then we'll draw for turn. And then we'll start our turn. I am going to tap 2 to play my champion onto the field. Remember, it just acts like an extra card in your hand, but now that I've used it, it is now a unit I am able to play. I will now pass the turn on to Brady, who will do his step-by-step on how he starts his turn.
Now, if you remember the ABCD action,
Awaken.
I don't have any awakens. I don't have any awakens. B is for Brady, which is me. C is for channel your runes.
Now,
And
you explain why you got 3. I explained it before, but make sure people understand.
the reason I got 3 runes and you have 2 is because I'm simply better than you, and the game knows it.
That is true, but also it is because
I'm
it is
going
your
second.
you're going second and it's your first turn. You will automatically get an extra rune, and the only time you'll get an extra rune in this way.
And then it did it for me, but I drew a card for D. And then I will tap 2 to play Mobilize, where I will draw Exhausted Rune. And I pass my turn.
He will discard his card and put it in the trash. And then we are back to our ABCDs. A, Awaken. So I will untap all my cards. B, Beginning. We have nothing. Oh, we didn't put our battlefields out. I'm just going to do the top one. I don't even care. B, Beginning. Ooh. We have nothing to do for our Beginning. C is Channel. We will do 2 channels. So now we have 2 blues and 2 purples. I will actually start by moving into the battle zone. Do you have any response for me conquering?
I do not.
Because there is no response, I have successfully conquered this battlefield, and I will gain a point because of that. Now what I will do is I will tap 1 to play this from Hidden. Again, we will go over keywords in a future video. Hidden is an important keyword for Teemo, but just know that it is a hidden card and will be played in the future. And with that, I will pass my turn on to Brady.
Okay. A, Awaken, nothing.
Your runes.
B. Oh, I awaken my runes. Of course, they're awake now. B is for Brady. Again, it's me. My turn. C is for channeling my rune.
You'll go back to getting 2, and that will be 2 for the rest of the game. And
D
then
for draw.
He will draw his card.
Now, go to the secret 5th option, E, which is employ the things.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I will. No, I won't. I will tap 2 to play Confront. Confront allows my units that I play this turn to enter ready, and I draw 1 card. Then I will tap 4 and recycle 1 orange to play Kiana.
Yana will come in untapped specifically because of the spell card. Otherwise, she would not be able to move the turn she played. This is an exception.
I will now take Kiana and move her into the battlefield.
Okay. In response to you attacking me, I'm going to flip my card to play Blast Cone Fae to give you -2 might, which doesn't really do anything at a minimum 1. So it'll be 2, and then this will now be played as a unit. So now I have 3 on my side. Now we are in combat. Do you have any response to this?
No, I do not.
Now, well, keep it here. Keep it here. Now that we are in combat, this is the best time to explain this. The way combat works is that your attack is cumulative. So I have a 2 and a 1. I have a total of 3 that I can use. Kiana has just 2 right now. They have a total of 2 points they can play wherever they choose. So he may choose one of my 2 to destroy. Do you have a preference?
I will choose your Teemo card.
He will destroy my Teemo. My Fae will live with 1 extra damage as an overkill. And I will maintain the board. I have won the hold. I have defended successfully. Is that the end of your turn?
I pass my turn.
All right. We will now awaken. Beginning phase. The beginning phase, I am holding a point. I will now gain a point for holding successfully. I will channel 2 runes. I will draw for turn. And we will go with that.
That's your turn?
I will tap 5 to play Ava Achiever. However, a note that I did not mention before, you may play your card either in your base, as you will always be able to do, or into a battlefield you owned. Because I am owning the battlefield here, I'm allowed to play Ava tapped here, so she can be used to defend. And with that, I will pass my turn. And we'll do one more cycle through, so we'll let Brady finish his turn. I will go again, and then that should be enough to get you an idea of how to play this game.
So, A, B, C, D. Awaken, just my runes. B. What is B?
Beginning.
Beginning phase. Nothing in the beginning phase. You didn't get a point for hold.
I did, yes.
You did. C. Channel my runes, and D. Draw a card. Okay. I will tap 4. Play Herald of Scales. Now, what Herald of Scales does? Yes, your dragon's energy cost is reduced by 2 to a minimum of 1 energy cost. Now, dragons are important to know because on the card it will say dragon above it, next to the unit symbol. Anything that says dragon is now 2 energy less, which makes this 5 to 3. And I will tap 3 to play Doondrick. And then I will pass my turn.
All right, and for the final turn, we'll do our steps. We will awaken. Everyone will be able to move as planned. Beginning, I have held this point successfully. I will gain a holding point. Channel, I will channel 2, and then draw for my turn. Let's take a look at how to use a spell card real quick. We're going to use Stack the Deck. Stack the Deck states that I will look at my top 3 cards and then choose one and recycle the rest. Now on this application we're using is a little bit different, but we're just going to do it like this. He cannot see what I'm doing. I will grab this card, and these other 2 will go at the bottom of my deck. I will discard my spell. I will add this to my hand. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and play it. we're gonna tap 1 because of my chemo effect. I will hide this card into my base, and then I will pass my turn. And that's all there is to it. Riftbound is such a fun and engaging game, and I'm really excited to finally get the English release and share this with everybody. I hope this video was able to help you and get you started on your Riftbound journey. If you have any questions, need clarifications, I missed something, or you just wanted to discuss something we can talk about in the future, leave a comment below. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you make sure you don't miss any future posts. That's all for me today. See ya.